You are listening to the Lawyer Stories podcast with host Benny Gold. Lawyer Stories was founded in July 2017 and is an expanding global network of lawyers and law students sharing their personal journeys to the noble profession of the practice of law. Join us on this podcast as we dig deeper into these stories and hear from lawyers and law students from around the world in all areas of the legal profession. Here at Lawyer Stories, we believe that every lawyer has a story. What's yours?
Welcome to the Lawyer Stories podcast with Benny Gold. Today we welcome in Christine Hahn, founder of the Hahn Law Group in Denver, Colorado, practicing in family law, immigration, criminal defense, amongst other types of law. Welcome in, Christine. Good to see you.
Hey, Benny. Thank you for having me.
For sure. So what's going on out there? How's the COVID situation? I know it's sort of wreaking havoc on our country right now.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. You know what? Denver's always been good of just managing things. Colorado, the governor's always on it. The mayors are always on it. I mean, I don't think it's as bad. I travel a lot. I just got back in town a couple of days ago, but I don't think it's as bad compared to other states and other cities. So it's okay. Everything's fine.
Good. Well, it's good to see you again. I do want to say that we featured you on Lawyer Stories in March of 2020. We've done another feature on you. We actually had our initial podcast episode, which is episode 27. But you are definitely a fan favorite. I love getting your clips. Lawyer Stories loves seeing you on the feed, hearing your story, because it's a true American dream with your parents, and we'll recap that a little bit. And it's just been awesome to have your support. So on behalf of myself and our team, I want to thank you so much for all of your support with Lawyer Stories as I continue this journey.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I mean, you already know I'm such a big fan of the Lawyer Story. And you, Benny. So.
That's so nice. That's so sweet, Christine. So like I said, we did do our podcast actually almost a year ago. It was 12/11, 2020. And how about a little bit of a recap? We talked about your story. Your parents came to America, and you were born after that in Philly. Mm-hmm. And so what was that like? Just tell it what was that like for you?
Typical immigrant household, my parents, there was a language barrier, obviously. There still is somewhat. So my brother and I, we grew up in Philly, but having immigrant parents, I felt like we grew up very fast compared to other kids. We had to handle a lot of paperwork, help our parents out. We're the ones growing up here in the United States. We know how things work. I felt like an adult at a very young age. And I think that really helped me be, a very independent person, which obviously contributed to my entrepreneurship. And I think that the same story goes to my brother too. So.
Right. So, and your dad was the first Asian American policeman in Philly, and your mom was a nurse. So what was that like being with them? Because you're first generation, a lot of these, your profession and everything. But what was it like watching them make the transition? Do you recall?
Yeah. So yes, my dad was the first Asian American police officer in Philadelphia, like you said. I think that really helped him learn more about this country, diverse backgrounds of a lot of people and different issues. That really, that's kind of when I started wanting to be, an attorney, to be honest, because he would tell me stories, he would come back home, etc., of someone getting in trouble and this and that and that. And, I watched a lot of Law and Orders and that kind of TV shows. But no, my parents, they are the typical, the immigrant success stories. They've worked very hard their entire lives. We have very humble beginnings in Philadelphia, talking about food stamps, free lunch, all kinds of government assistance, living in one room together, just really humble beginnings.
So you did that. You actually had the experience.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Yep. Very humble beginnings. And my parents did anything they could. And, mind you, my father being a police officer, my mom being a nurse, that's only one job that we're talking about, right? Yep. My dad sold socks under the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. Okay.
Right.
He worked at liquor stores. He was cleaning places. My mom was at Burger King, all the, fish
And that
fries.
was before they got those other jobs, like until they could get that job. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. And my brother and I, we grew up watching my parents just be hustlers like that, just grinding it out,
Totally.
doing whatever they could for me to, live the American dream.
Yeah.
For me to, get the higher education, become an
Amazing.
attorney, get my doctorate degree. So I really owe all of my success to my family.
No, I love to see it. And I moonlight as like the podcast host, and maybe I'll get my big contract one day with like, Spotify or Sirius. But I think, I'm a director of public housing, so I love to see like families like really helping their children to succeed and all that. And one thing that I thought was like really cool about when we talked last time was you said you took a trip. You lived in Philly, but you took a trip to the Statue of Liberty, which I happen to like love the Statue of Liberty. So I think that was like sort of a big memory in your childhood.
Yes, absolutely. So my dad, he showed me a lot of these, monumental places, and it really instilled on me like what I wanted to do and my dreams and goals in life. And when he took me to New York, I was just a little girl. That's where he took me to, the Statue of Liberty. And it was
Yeah.
always my dad's dream to become an attorney, but he couldn't, of course. And I couldn't fulfill that dream for him. And I remember that conversation, as corny or cliche it is, he pointed it out and he was like, this is what America is about. You can do anything is possible. This is why mom and dad are working so hard, working 4 or 5 jobs. So you have to make it,
Oh, he pointed out the statue.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell me, like, Christine, what in your opinion is the American dream?
In my opinion, the American dream is fulfilling anything that you want, that your heart desires, and being happy, and where the opportunities are endless. There is no social, racial barrier or there as much as other countries. You really work hard for something, put everything, your heart and soul into it, you can reach that level. And I feel like for me, family is everything because I'm who I am because of them. We give back in that sense, right? I was able to achieve all of these things, still do, because of my parents and my family support. So it's also me taking care of them. To me, that's the American dream.
Awesome. I love that. Thanks for that explanation.
Yeah.
Thank you for that discussion about the American dream. So tell us, like, we haven't spoken about a year. It's been like a year and 2 weeks. Well, we spoke like through Instagram, but like, I mean, we haven't had you on the podcast for like a year or so. So tell me, like, what's been going on? Like, what's with your firm? Like, you have your own firm. You've had it for a little while now. Like, tell us what positive has happened in the last year.
Yeah, since I did this about like a year ago. So a lot has changed. COVID, obviously, the pandemic has changed how we practice law, period.
Right.
And for me, that was transitioning my firm. We're not all the way remote, but we're halfway. So
Okay.
I would say I don't really see my clients unless they're like older clients who need to come see me, or unsophisticated clients, or emergency situations. So we really transitioned to everything virtually.
Okay.
My employees love it. I love it.
And you also have done some, I've seen you've had, and obviously you don't have to mention any names, but I'm a big like NFL fan. I love, the NBA, Celtics and Patriots, but you do have some bigger name like clients in like professional sports. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. It's a blessing. So that's another thing, being in Denver, having athletes and celebrity clients, or I have a wide, range of clients. I have multimillionaire clients, but also the single mom, the immigrant who I just helped the asylum application with, and it's really a blessing to establish those kind of relationships, because really so many opportunities presented to me through my clients and the relationships that I have with them. So.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So like, what is your advice for an attorney wanting to open their own practice?
My advice for an attorney wanting to own their practice would be have a very concise plan, understand that things are not always going to work out. So have a backup plan
Right.
and another backup plan.
Yeah.
And I would also recommend having the right people around you, and right people around you meaning support system. Support system doesn't necessarily mean like they all have to be attorneys, by the way, right? I have a really good small circle of mentors, friends,
Right.
business associates, whatever it is that can help me and inspire me, that I can learn from on a regular basis. So be really picky about who you are with, your circle. And the other thing is just believe in yourself. Don't afraid to be different.
Yep.
I'm very different from a lot of attorneys, and how I run my firm, how I, the relationship I have with my clients and my employees. Just, just keep working hard at it and you'll figure it out, so that would be
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Christine.
Mhm.
So like, what would you say is like the best thing and the worst thing about owning your own practice as opposed to working for somebody else?
Yeah, so the best thing about having your own law firm, obviously I don't have to answer to like a partner who's going to stress me out, right?
Right. Yeah, of
Um,
course.
and that
So like,
slate,
it's December 30th right now. Like somebody didn't slap a memo on you and say, hey,
oh my
you need
gosh.
this done by like January 3rd, right? So
The funny thing is my dad told me, he actually pushed me to open up my firm as fast as I did, straight out of law school. And he
yep.
told me, you're going to get fired if you don't, and it's totally true. I would not be able to, I got great offers from bigger firms in
I
the
bet.
Denver
Yeah.
area, but I had to turn it down because realistically I would get fired.
Why?
With the amount of, because like at the end of the day, I can't really answer to someone like that. I've always been a boss. I always will be a boss.
Yeah.
I own multiple businesses, not just this law.
Really? Okay. So that I want to hear about at some point.
Yeah, and I'm getting there.
Good.
So, and I know how stressful, law firms, big law could be,
Yeah.
with the billing requirement, the toxic environment, not all, but I wouldn't be able to do it. And I just love that I'm able to establish my own rules, policies.
Yep.
It just makes it so worth it,
For
At the end
sure.
of the day, if you work hard, but it's your baby, it's your business, like this
Yeah.
is legit my baby.
Oh, yeah.
So
You don't mind working at any hour of of the day.
yeah,
I mean, I get messages at 3 a.m. from people around the world, and like it's my pleasure to message people back. It's like
yeah.
a good time because it's something that I love and like I believe in, and I really enjoy doing this. So like when it's your baby, like that's something that you're gonna do. And also once you do have your own firm or business, like it's very hard to go and have a boss of some sort. I can imagine, right?
I can never do it. Never.
No, so like I've met a number of attorneys on through and law students through Lawyer Stories, which has been amazing, such a great journey. So social media is like huge now. Like since when I was like younger in like high school, even college, like I think the first thing I had was when I was in law school, we had something called Friendster, which is probably like way before your days. And then it went on, and then it went on to MySpace. Maybe you've heard that.
Yes, MySpace.
Okay. So like now I think people are using it as like more of a practical thing. They're using it for their businesses. They're using it to network. They're using it to date. Right. So like, how do you feel that like social media has helped your practice? And like, tell us a little bit about marketing with social media.
Social media has contributed tremendously to my law firm and success. And I can talk about this for forever. And I get like, invited to speak about this here and there in the bar association stuff. But I think, in this day and age, practicing law is so different, because of social media, right? And I think the pros is people can relate to you. I'm a real person, it's not like some stereotypical attorney who's never reachable, never accessible, who has no personality, who won't wear blue to court, So
Right.
I think that when people relate to you and your personality, they like you already. So when they follow you and they see your lifestyle, and on top of that, what you're doing and your success rate, your clients are on there, they've already think that you're their attorney. So anytime something happens, you're like, oh yeah, call that girl. I've been following her for a year or two. So it's honestly the most effective marketing. It's the cheapest marketing, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's the fastest marketing. Like numbers don't lie, right? Numbers do
Yeah.
not
No,
lie. And
so you've
social,
gotten clients from social media, from Instagram
I
and
get
whatnot.
clients, I have a number, I won't say it, but every month it's always that range.
Really?
And yes,
Are you
so
talking dollars or or number of clients?
number of clients,
Wow, that's incredible.
which is equivalent to dollars.
That's incredible.
So,
Congratulations. What
yeah,
kind of cases are they mostly, by the way, like that you're getting off?
it's really broad. I would
Like,
say, if they're following me from Colorado, Denver, Aurora area, they're usually reaching out for family matters because I do divorce and custody,
okay.
right? Or, prenuptial agreements if they're, celebrities or, if they have a higher income bracket. If they are reaching out outside of Colorado, which many of them do, my followers are outside of the state too, then a lot of times it's immigration because I practice on the federal level. So I have clients in, New York, Atlanta, Dallas, and they follow me, and we do everything remotely anyway. And I
Yeah.
file for them. They fly me out to go with them to the interview at the immigration interview. So like it works that way. And then of course, locally, I do criminal defense too.
Okay.
So if someone gets in trouble, they're like, oh yeah, call that lawyer, that Denver lawyer. That's me. So
that's amazing. So social media is
I love it.
something else. Yeah, it's something else. So you have a consulting business now, a legal consulting business.
Yes.
So like you have a mentoring program for law students and younger attorneys who are starting their firms. I know I just asked you a question earlier about that.
Mm-hmm.
So like, tell us about that a little bit.
Yes, so it's hanlegalconsulting.com if you're interested. But
really? Okay.
hanlegalconsulting.com. So I thought about, naturally, because I'm a businesswoman, I'm always going to be opening businesses, investing in businesses and things like that, right? Even outside of law. And on the regular social media, again, I would get DMs, tons of DMs from law students or younger attorneys and say, I'm so inspired by you. You're so different. Or how did you start your law firm immediately after law school? Actually, I had several reach out after they watched this episode with you and I.
Yeah, actually, it did pretty well. That was in the beginning stages and it did well.
And then they're inspired because they know my story through this podcast. And, it requires my time and they want to talk to me, be a mentor. So I'm like, I can actually, turn this into a business that I could this is something that I'm passionate about, helping people build their brand and build their law firm. So it's been good. I have several law students, couple younger attorneys, and I'm kind of like, I provide counseling for them, not just the legal stuff, but the practical aspect of what to prepare, how to do it right when you start a law firm. So I really love it. So when I'm not in court or doing the law firm thing, I'm doing the consulting stuff.
And it's a business.
Absolutely.
That's great. Good for you.
Benny, everything's a business.
I know. Tell me about it. I've had to tell some people that, it's not too easy. Like with this, I mean, hey, it's that's terrific though. Very happy for you.
Thank you.
So best part about being an attorney, what would you say?
Best part about being an attorney, I would say two things. Really helping people and making an impact in their life, and establishing, real connections. And with that, my life is amazing and great because I've had so many different opportunities presented to me just based on the relationships I've had with my clients. You mentioned, me having, athletes as clients. I know we talk about me being at the Nuggets game, the Bronco game and things like that. I would have never had those opportunities, I believe, if it wasn't for the fact that I was an attorney, honestly.
I should check in with you for like the injury reports, like before I set a lineup on like FanDuel or like, Yahoo or DraftKings. Okay. That's awesome. Like that. I know it's super cool. Like I'm really into like the NBA and NFL.
Yeah. Sometimes in my free time, I get invited from my clients to go to these games or some gala auction, and I go and I'm like, what is my life? And, I'm surrounded by amazing, just people that I learn from and I'm inspired by, people I would never be able to meet if I wasn't an attorney. So I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed. It's fun.
So what's like the new way of practicing law and getting clients? Is it different than social media? I just had this question down. I don't know if the answer is different than what we've already discussed.
I think it's both. The new way of practicing law is being human, being fun, being
Yeah.
relatable, being really, really relatable. And clients love me because I'm relatable and
Yeah.
I'm reachable. They know my personal cell.
Yep.
And obviously, yes, social media is huge because that's the biggest way for people to relate to you
Yep.
and your personality, standing out, making an impact. And I really feel like you become unforgettable to someone, right? So I think that's the newest
Yeah.
way versus just being stuck, in an office where people don't know your face.
Say that again. Go back. Say you said unforgettable to someone. What do you mean? Say
Yes,
that again. Say that
because
again.
if your personality is popping out like that, like in your face, and you're not afraid to be different, you're not afraid to wear colors in court. And trust me, a lot of attorneys are, you know
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and you're not afraid to be yourself. So being authentic,
Yep.
I have really monetized
Right.
with, right? So being your authentic self, showing up as your authentic self, your real self, and you can still be a great lawyer and killing it, And it took me a while to realize that. And so many attorneys, even if they've been practicing law for 10, 20 years, they're afraid to do that.
So that's your advice to attorneys: be yourself, basically.
Absolutely.
I think that's really smart. I know for some people it might be like, okay, be yourself, but I really, I find that if you're yourself, you're a little vulnerable, but maybe not to, your clients, but if you just act like yourself and not like somebody else, I think people are much more drawn to that than any other.
Yes.
But yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what makes you unique, different. And I use that word unforgettable because a lot of my clients say that about me when they meet me or talk to me, and they get my personality. We instantly click. And now you have a client for 10 years. You're
Yeah.
their attorney no matter what, and their friends, their family, whoever, right? And you cannot put a price tag on that, and that's why success comes easy if you're yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. Success comes easy if you're yourself.
I really believe that.
Okay. That's a great quote. I think you need like a photo of yourself. No, seriously, with like success comes easy if you're yourself. I think
Yeah.
that's terrific. Okay,
Let
so
me frame it at the office.
can you picture of this podcast like us right here?
Yes.
Okay. So, question going back to social media, what would be your do's and don'ts for lawyers on social media? Do like post, should lawyers be posting like their settlement checks or like their like without the names, or should they be posting like personal things on like something where like their clients might see? Like tell us what your do's and don'ts would be.
Do's and don'ts. I feel like there needs to be a balance. If you're using social media like I am, for your business, and I honestly have fun with it. I think that's what it's about. It shouldn't feel like draining and things like that.
Right.
It should be a balance of work. I definitely believe celebrate your success. People don't know you're winning cases unless you post it, unless you talk
That's
about it.
interesting. I think that's very interesting because I've seen it from like both sides. Like some people saying, stop posting your check. Maybe they're having a drought and they don't want to see other people's checks. But yeah, that's interesting. You're saying people don't, they want to see that you're successful and they
Absolutely.
you do that, right? Okay.
I mean, Benny, we're attorneys. People come to us because they need help, right? And you can Google me and read all my 5-star Google reviews, but if it's instant, this is all marketing, right?
Yep.
So if there's a check and you're a client who's afraid to take that step, like, oh, wow, maybe that can happen to me, or this person is really good in court. Maybe you want to talk about a motion you won. For me, because most of my clients really like me, I always take pictures with my clients. I put them on video, and that really humanizes me, but also
totally consensual. Like, let's talk about the do's and don'ts. Like, that's totally consensual, right? So, okay.
Yes. So I definitely think I encourage attorneys. It's not even bragging. It's in the nature of our work, right? This is what she hired me to do, and that's what I achieved, right? So it's like realtors selling homes. They post up there. Yeah, that's what we do. Now, what I advise not doing is putting too much personal stuff, right? Now, there needs to be a balance. Your personality needs to show. Let's say you're showing something on your day off, right? But not like something, but people still need to know that, oh yeah, but that's that lawyer,
What would
right?
be like a bad thing to show on your day off?
I think personally, I wouldn't show like if you are going on a date,
Okay.
right? Someone, some romantic stuff, right? I think that has
Even
nothing to
if
do.
it's with like what if it's like date night with your husband?
Maybe okay, date night if you're if your clients are like about family,
Okay. All right.
vacation, yeah. It
Fair
depends
enough.
on what you do, you know.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. I wouldn't post like if an attorney is getting a tattoo. I wouldn't post
Okay.
that.
Got it. Got it.
Personally, I'm not saying it's wrong. Personally,
Okay.
I wouldn't post uh, only because people think that, you know, we stereotype that attorneys are greedy and we're money hungry and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Like I wouldn't throw a stash of cash in my face or something like
Okay.
that
Well, yeah.
when clients pay me in cash personally, because you don't want to rub people the wrong way.
Yes.
And
Okay.
yeah. hmm
Okay. No, that
Being-
makes so it's like common sense stuff, sort of, you know.
Yes,
Okay.
common sense, but some people don't have it. So
Yeah, okay. Very good. All right. So what type of cases are you handling now mostly at your firm? Like what's the crux of like what you're doing?
So really all three areas of law. So in family law, I do tons of divorce and custody cases all the time.
Okay.
With my other clients, I'm doing prenuptial agreements. A lot of people with the higher income situation, prenuptial or postnuptial agreements.
Okay.
And immigration, I'm always doing green cards, always doing naturalization applications, fiance visas. So, you know, I don't know if people watch 90 Day Fiance, but
I saw it the other night. That's amazing. I
So
happened to watch. I took a break from watching football, as much as I love, you know, I watched the red zone like all day. The Patriots aren't on, but and then at the end I was watching. I think it was either Monday. I don't know. I was watching that show, but anyway,
probably a Sunday. It's on Sunday.
So it was Sunday then. I couldn't decide if it was like during after the red zone or like after Monday Night Football, but it was Sunday. Yes, I watched a little bit of that. I
So
took a
you
break.
know, on 90 Day Fiance, you see the process of the K-1 visa, the fiance process. I have a lot of cases like that. So I always like happy couples, interracial, intercultural couples.
Isn't it interesting being an attorney, right? Because you start seeing the world like that. Like the person who's just watching it, who doesn't have the legal education, would be like, oh wow, like, you know, this is interesting. But then like the attorney will be like, oh, does he have their visa? Like, what's their immigration issue? How is he getting over there? Like, are they going to get like the verbal test? Like, do they know enough about each other? Like that whole thing. It's interesting.
No,
right?
I'm definitely, and I watch it and I'm always like in my mind, and sometimes I blurt it out. I'm like, that's going to get denied, you know?
They need to call Christine Hahn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
so I do a lot of those with immigration, criminal defense here in Denver. I always do a lot of like DUIs, tons of domestic violence, especially for my divorce clients, or child abuse situations for my divorce clients. So as you can see, you know, all those areas, I'm always like double dipping. So
okay. So what do you see like the value of? Do you see value in connecting with other attorneys?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love connecting with attorneys. I think, well, your network is your net worth, right?
I've heard that.
So, right. So not just my law school friends. I'm sure you agree, Benny. The people you went to law school with, they're like family, right? So, you know, you refer cases.
Maybe for you.
Not everybody.
I have a couple, but you know, it was.
That's what I meant.
Law school is a different episode, Christine. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but you know, you want to be able to have attorneys in your circle, whether you're mentoring someone or whether that person is your mentor. You can discuss a case, you can learn it, or at the end of the day, you can refer cases to each other.
Yeah.
I have, you know, 3 of my best friends are attorneys. Like just based on referring cases, I mean, it pays the bills, right? So you really need attorneys, you know, in your
well, Christine, I don't know if I've told you this before, but you know, I'd be happy, and you don't need it, I don't think, it sounds like, but if you ever see somebody on like Lawyer Stories that you just want like a warm introduction, like you want me to be the intermediary, like that's what I kind of do here. Like I love doing that. It makes me like really excited to be able to like connect to people. So I'd love to do that. And I've actually had somebody else on the podcast who I'll tell you about after, who's from your area, who might be a good connection. So but yeah, I would love to
I think I know who you're talking about, and I would love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, for sure. So like, where do you see your firm in 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years, I see my firm, in different branches or in different states. So, one, I won't say the city or the state right now because I'm still kind of thinking about it, but definitely one out in the West, one out in the East, and just thrive.
Boston, like, we could set up like a Lawyer Stories thing, like we could.
Yes. Well, you have clients for me, Benny? Do you have clients for me waiting over there?
If I did, I might try to take them on. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. So 5 to 10 years. So
different locations. So a Hanlock Group branch, the original one would be here in Denver or Aurora, Colorado. 2 different other states, thriving, happy employees, the way that I have them right now, solid employees, contractors, associate attorneys, and me, flying to different offices. That will be my law firm. And of course, I would love Han Legal Consulting to be growing too and mentoring all kinds of law students. I had to turn down a gig or whatever. They wanted me to speak at a particular law school, about social media marketing and for 3Ls actually. And, taking that jump and starting your own law firm and question and answering, that kind of stuff. But I was actually stuck in trial. I do want to do things like that too.
Okay.
That just kind of keeps me going. It makes me happy,
Excuse me. Yeah. That's awesome. So you want to branch out. And I think like what we talked about earlier, delegating is like the way to do it. You're at the point where what you can delegate, like how you can review the work. So then you can do the things you love. So I think that's so important.
It's so important. I think it's especially important when you have your own firm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't, when I first started, I wore like 20 hats.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I couldn't afford a receptionist, a paralegal, an office manager, case manager. And now I have all of that,
Right.
So you really have to, work your way up and do that. But, I play a different role now. And I really see myself as the CEO role, right? The partner role of managing and running the law firm, not the everyday grind of,
Do you have any full-time employees? Like you have a few full-time, right?
I have a couple, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I have part-time.
And then you have several like contract attorneys that you dish things out. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So Christine, thanks so much for all your information and advice and like being here. And we will just stay right there. And thanks for being here again. And if there's nothing else that you have, I'll give you another chance. Anything else?
No, I'm just so excited that you were able to squeeze me in, and
of course,
always a good time to see you, Benny. I love Lawyer Stories. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you. The feeling's mutual. We're definitely a huge fan of Christine. So wherever you are in the world today, everybody, enjoy yourselves. Cheers.